Petra is going to save us all with a dance. Yes, you've heard right. It's something new. It's another way of looking at creating awareness around parental alienation. Right, and welcome. Thanks for joining us, Petra. All good and fine. How are you doing this morning? Oh, sorry, it's evening. What time is it on your side there, Petra?
It's right now 11 p.m. in Los Angeles.
11 p.m. in you in Los Angeles. Oh my word.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you on. We had quite a discussion yesterday, and I hope you don't mind me asking you some of those questions again that I asked you yesterday. Let's start off with what got you into wanting to create awareness around parental alienation. What's your backstory?
Yeah, the reason I became aware of parental alienation is because I was that child, I was that alienated child, and I didn't realize it until I became an adult. So when I became an adult and realized that I was alienated from my father for most of my life, it had become too late because my father had passed. So I never had the opportunity to have that relationship with my father, and I don't want any other children, other families have to go through the same thing that I have gone through, and this is why I'm here.
And what type of effects did it have on you since you are now an adult? I mean, having grown up without the father, being alienated from your dad. What are some of the effects that you have gone that have been placed on you?
Well, it's clearly this is a very well-known thing, and obviously, I experience this myself. It has impacted all aspects of my life. It really, when you grow up without a loving parent, it and especially when you're being told that that parent didn't love you, that parent doesn't want you, you grew this sense of you know lack of security, this sense of, there's a self-esteem issue where you wondering why, as a child, you're not good enough to be loved by one of your parents. And then growing up, that you carry that with you, and then you develop a lot of different relationship problem, trust issues, and that really manifests itself in all aspect of life, right? It's from personal relationship to work life, and then it create different type of um, psychological psychological complexes, like for example PTSD, anxiety, things like that then impact your career and your health, right? So there's a lot of study into this that show that children that have been alienated from one of their parents grow up, suffer from really serious long-term consequences. From self-esteem issues, trust issues that I mentioned about, dependence on alcohol and substance, PTSD, um, suicidal ideations. It's really a lot of things, and then that translate into neurodevelopment problem, cancer, early death, things like that.
And how long have you been an activist for against parental alienation?
This been a couple of years now. I've been really doing this full time, full on. Uh, yeah, so it's about a couple of years.
Okay. And then you've got this event coming up, right? Tell us a bit more about the Children First campaign.
So I have this campaign called Children First. It's going to be a worldwide social awareness campaign. The idea of it is it's not a protest, it's not a demonstration, it's not a rally, it's not an event actually. It's a flash mob. And for people that are not familiar with flash mob, it is a dance. It's a surprise dance. So imagine you going out to a mall or going out to some landmark that's famous in your city or whatever, and where there's a lot of people on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning or something like that, people going out about on their day, and it's a crowded place, and suddenly out of nowhere, a group of people turning up in the middle of this space and start dancing to a song, and it's clearly choreographed, and You're seeing people that were just standing right next to you. You thinking that they're just going shopping like you, and suddenly they're into the dance. So this is flash mob. Flash mob is like a surprise dance. It's sort of unannounced, and it's always really fun. And the idea for this is we wanted to bring this fun, positive element to catch people attention. We I feel like for us to reach the public, we need to reach them from an emotional level with a positive messaging. Um, because I think that for the longest time, a lot of people have tried protests or rally and different things like that. That is always sort of carries a sense of stigma and sort of drama and negativities that make it a little bit harder for people to really listen to us. So I thought we would try something a little bit different. And the idea here is to get people to pay attention. So the campaign's hashtag is called Children First. And what we wanted to do is to have the same dance, the same dress code, the same song, the same dance routine that to happen on the same day, which is Saturday, April 23rd. That's going to happen at many cities around the world. Right now, we have, I think, 25 cities around the world, and we're looking to see if we can add more to it. But the idea is if we can have the same hashtag, the same messaging, and it's happening everywhere, then hopefully the public, when they're going out about their day and suddenly seeing this surprise element in their day, they become curious. And with today, with social media, it's so easy for people to just grab their phone and start filming this dance and then posting it on their social media. And if in our flash mob, we can have someone that holding up the sign for our hashtag, which is children first, then people will naturally start using that hashtag for that video. And then if they go on social media, they start seeing that it's actually the same dance in many other cities with the same hashtag, then people will start to become a little bit more curious and wondering what this is about. And that's our goal. And hopefully we will get more public attention, but also the media attention that helps spreading our message further. So that's a goal.
Well, it's an excellent idea. When I heard about it the other day when I was on your live, well, it's something that I never thought of. I'm more of an aggressive type, as you've seen. I've even built a news channel, but I love the fact that we can bring awareness with something that's not as harsh. It takes it away. It takes the pain away slightly because you are doing something more fun for people to enjoy and join in. And another thing that I wanted to know as well, are children allowed to join in on this dance as well?
Yeah, so we encourage everybody to participate in this. The messaging is very clear. It's children first, meaning we want the world to pay attention to children and put children as priority. Because the heart of the problem with parental alienation is that people forget that children are the true victim of this. And even for parents that are engaging in parental alienation, they forget the damage and the consequences that the children are suffering. So they're causing this harm to their own children. And then, you have professionals at all level, judges, lawyers, therapists, school teachers, a lot of them, they also tend to look at these cases and thinking that this is a conflict between two high conflict individuals, which are adults, the parents. And everyone forget that in the middle is this child that being caught in the middle of the adult conflict and have been used as a weapon. So if everyone can just stop and remember that we need to put children first, then we would solve, a major part of this problem if everyone can just pay attention. And so, because of this, we want the messaging is in a way that we want everyone can get behind it, and that's why it's children first. And so with this is all age. We want to, grandparents can participate, anybody in the public can participate, children can participate. We have this dance routine that we're working on that is going to be simple enough that anyone can participate, nothing embarrassing. You don't need an amazing dance skill to learn this. It's simple enough. It's a 1 minute dance routine so that people can just simply watch it and enjoy it, or they can learn this and they can do it themselves at home, and then share it on social media, things like that. So yeah, anyone can participate, no matter what their age or not. So right now we have a registration form for people to sign up from anywhere around the world so that we can help directing them to the appropriate cities, because we had the lead, like the organizer for different cities around the world. And right now, I have over 100 children that have signed up. So these are the children that have been signed up by their parents, obviously. But yeah, we have children from old age. I think the youngest is at 4 years old. So yeah, really, everyone is welcome to participate.
That's excellent. And well, I've put my hand up for Johannesburg without me thinking about it before firsthand. But I wish that everyone also takes that same approach where you know just volunteer, just get in on it, because you and I spoke yesterday. People don't realize that everyone in the world is affected by parental alienation. Just shine some light on that as to how everyone is actually affected by this that don't even know. You've had many talks before with people, so fill us in on that.
Yeah, I mean, like when you go and I mean, I do a lot of talk, and even when I'm not an official speaker, when I go anywhere, I tend to talk about parental alienation, and it's just a natural thing. I'm really passionate about it, and I just can't stop talking about it. But when I bring up parental alienation, and ask people, do you know what parental alienation is? Usually, you get this blank look on their face. It's almost like everyone will say they never heard of what parental alienation is. But then when you go and explain it, parental alienation is what happened when a parent or someone try to manipulate the child into rejecting a relationship with the other parent, and this usually happens in a divorce or separation. So, by saying things like, your dad is an alcoholic, or your mom cheated on me, or your dad doesn't pay child support, or your mom is emotionally unstable, things like that, bad mouthing about the other parent. When you explain things like that, then everyone have seen this, everyone have experiences, and then you always hear a lot of different stories. People come up to us and say things like, "Oh my God, this is what happened to me, when I was a child," and or this is something that my cousin's going through, or my best friend's going through this, or my neighbor's going through this. Everyone have seen this. Everyone have seen this in some form, and a lot of people suffer from this, and they don't even know that that's parental alienation. For a lot of targeted parents, they feel like what they're experiencing is so unique that they so feel this sense of helplessness and hopelessness, and that sense of isolation and loneliness is really incredibly tragic. So, bringing the social awareness is really have the goal that is really at multiple layers. We want the victims to be able to feel like they have a voice, that they are not alone, and that they are validated. Their experience is real. It's not something wrong with them. That this is a problem worldwide, and then we also want the rest of the world to start paying attention, and then for people from outside to recognize that, oh, this is a problem. And if they can start thinking about stop and then think about how serious this problem is, then hopefully they will start to intervene when they notice this problem. Because right now people are seeing it all the time, but they just kind of ignore it. They kind of stay out of it because they think, well, I don't want to get involved, it's not my problem, or well, this is just how things are, because they don't realize how bad or how serious it is. So the point of this is really, if we can just make tiny little changes. If you're looking into the history, right, with a lot of things, I mean, you're looking at even like how to change people' perception on smoking. Like there used to be a time it's fun and cool to be smoking. It took us a long time to get to a point where people, society, had to go, well, smoking is not a very good thing, right? It takes a long time. And the same, like parents used to just beat up children, and then if the society just look at that and go, well, that's just the way it is. That's how you raise your children. Today, people start to go, well, you don't beat your children up. That's actually a form of child abuse. There's different way of disciplining the children, etc. Right? So that kind of social changes take a long time, and it is a small step, incremental step. And so the same thing with this. I truly believe that at some point we will be able to make the change that we need, which is for people to recognize that parental alienation is a form of child abuse, and it's truly damaging to the children who carry with them these consequences for the rest of their life, and then that translates into the cost of society. So that change will happen, but in the meanwhile we have to start making the change now so that it will take place over time.
I know it's difficult to estimate, right? But given the time that we're living in, with social media and all of that, you and I also spoke about this yesterday. That slavery lasted for what, 400 years in America. Surely we can't wait 400 years now for parental alienation to at least be seen as a serious matter. What's your projection on this? Given the campaign that you're running, I know this isn't going to be a once-off campaign. This is only the start of the fight. Am I right?
No, actually, this is not our first campaign, right? We done many different campaigns so far. So, for example, we have the Hero Song Project
Okay.
last year. We have a film festival last year. We have yeah, we've done many campaigns, and many of them are international campaigns. So this is not our first campaign, and we definitely recognize and notice the changes in at all levels. So, for example, you know, I mean, one of the things that I do is I lobby for law changes, because I really think that there needs to be a change in the system. So if we can have the law to recognize that parental alienation is a form of child abuse, that it is the problem that it's causing a problem for children, then I think that can help a lot. So I lobby a lot, and so I speak with legislator at all level in different countries, as well as at the state level in the U.S., and then at the federal level in the U.S. And so I've noticed that when I started out, it's very difficult. People don't know who I am. People haven't heard about parental alienation. But by now there's a lot of people. A lot of these legislators now really know me by name. They know me personally. They understand, and they truly understand that I'm genuine about this, and they start to appreciate. And then, so that's the first step, right? To get people to pay attention, to appreciate your authenticity and your genuine about the issue, and then get them to start to pay attention to the issue, and then acknowledge that that is a problem. And then the next step is trying to figure out a solution that is doable, that is workable for everybody, right? So I mean, we're definitely making progress, and I see that like huge leap and bound since from the point that we started to now. So and even when we're looking at the exposure of like our reach, is it's like huge compared to when we started, obviously. So I don't know what is the time frame. Um, it's and it's not a linear thing, right? The same with parental alienation, by the way. To reverse parental alienation, it's kind of like you pushing and pushing and pushing, like and I'm talking about for target parents. You feel like it's impossible. You feel like you will never get your children back, that this thing is impossible to fight. But if you keep holding on and you keep doing the right thing, and you get yourself educated and you do the right thing, sometimes it will just flip like that. Even though it's just the day before, it feels impossible, and then yet the next day things can turn around in a way that you could never imagine. So it's not a linear thing that you can just look at and go, oh, it's going to be X days, and then it's going to improve by this much. It's not like that. So the same thing with this. I can definitely see a huge progress, a huge difference. Yeah, I was just saying how there are things that we trying to push really hard for months and months, and we're trying to talk to the legislators about this particular issue for like a particular aspect of parental alienation for months and months and months, and it seemed like nobody was opening the door to even want to hear us. And then suddenly something happened in January. We were able to convince one person, and then suddenly that just opened the door. It's like it was a groundbreaking thing, and then the next thing you know, like we were able to talk to so many more people, and everyone was opening their arms, and everyone was like, okay, we hear the issue, okay, we understand now. So it's very hard to predict, but I think at the end of the day, we have to be patient, and we have to just keep holding on to the conviction and keep working on it. And I truly believe that it's going to happen sooner than we think.
Petra, just going back on your experience as an alienated child, um, what's your relationship with your mom right now, and I know I asked you this question. Sorry, I'm not asking it in the order that I did yesterday, but a lot of people seem to think, and I've heard this from other adults who were alienated as children, that their relationships have changed with their alienating parents. So, what's your relationship like now?
So I don't have a relationship with my mother anymore. From the point that I confronted her about alienation, she pretty much abandoned our relationship. She turned around and pretty much used me as a attack target. Instead of, so everything that she did to my father when he was alive, she turned around and did it to me. So this is not it's tragic, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time it's not surprising because this is the thing about targeted parents. The alienators, they don't have the ability, I think, don't have the ability to love unconditionally. So their love is with a condition, is that you as a child have to choose, you have to reject the other parent in order to get my approval and my love. And if you somehow decide to show your affection or your love for the other parents, then I'm going to reject you. I'm going to reject you. And that's exactly what happened. So when I realized that I was alienated from my father and went back in and looked for all the paperwork and evidence and document, and then was able to figure out that I was alienated from a father who really loved me and really wanted me. As opposed to what I was told. The false narrative is that he was, he didn't want anything to do with me. Then he abandoned me and all that. So once I figured out the truth, and then she was not able to accept that fact, and it was like that's considered a form of betrayal for her, and so she no longer, and that's okay. That's just how things are, unfortunately.
Not to dig too deep into that, but what is there a possibility that your mom was also alienated as a child? Did you?
No,
Yeah.
no, actually. So my grandparents, in my mother's side, um, were together in a very loving relationship together from the point that my grandmother was 14 years old, to the point that my grandfather and her was in their late 90s, and then my grandfather finally passed a little bit more than a year ago. So they are in a really truly loving relationship. They they truly, you know, put each other on the pedestal. They love each other. They never speak badly about each other in front of any of the children or anybody. They truly adore each other. Both of them actually. They both speak of each other so highly, even just when they are by themselves. I mean, I've seen this as a kid and as an adult. So they truly, like spend they truly soulmate. They live together and never parted their entire life. So until he left, until he passed. So yeah, so no, there's no alienation in that situation. But your question though is it's relevant in a lot of cases because parental alienation tends to be a transgenerational thing, which is if you have experienced parental alienation as a child, it's a very high likelihood that you're going to grow up and become an alienated parent or an alienator, and then your children then continue to have high likelihood of being an alienated um, parent or an alienator. And so this is actually shown in research. It's not something that we just kind of talk about as a opinion. It's actually a research piece. But this is a very transgenerational thing. So yeah, your question is definitely relevant in that sense.
You've also I've noticed on your page that you've interviewed quite a few big names, some experts. Stephen Miller, I think, and then there's the Jennifer Harmon. Um, are those people still active, and what can we do here in South Africa to actually get some of that expertise? It seems here in South Africa we kind of like 10 years behind everyone all the time, so we kind of need things sped up a bit, yeah. And we don't have the experts that you guys have on that side. It seems that there's a lot more research done into this in America. What would your advice be for experts this side, psychologists looking into this?
So parental alienation as a field, it has been around, like this has been a lot of research in the last 35 years or so, and it's a worldwide movement. It's not just in America. So for example, my research is actually in Australia. I'm with the University of Tasmania, which has a it's really like the state of the art research center for parental alienation. So it's a worldwide thing, but I do want to acknowledge what you point out, which is we don't have enough experts, and I agree with that. We really need more experts around the world. We need more than just experts. We need professionals out there. We need support network out there for parents. We need resources for parents. We need resources for victims, like the adult children that grow up. You're looking at if you're looking at the marginalized groups out there, so you're looking at, for example, homeless. There's homeless shelter. There's domestic violence hotlines. There's suicidal hotlines. There's this virtually, there's gay and lesbian, places. You can look at all these different marginalized groups, and you see resources for those places. There's somewhere to go to get help and get support. But when it comes to parental alienation, as a system, there's no support anywhere that coming from the system. So there's a little bit of grassroots, like the work that I do at Victim to Hero Institute, or things, like things that you do. So these are the grassroots movements, but there's no system resources. So the government does not provide any funding for the victim of parental alienation. There's no hotlines, there's no shelter, nothing like that. So definitely, I agree with you that we are lacking in resources at all level, not just expert, but resources. And all of this actually originated from such a lack of public awareness at all levels when it comes to parental alienation. And this is exactly why we're doing the campaign, is to raise the public awareness on the problem, because until the world recognizes that it is a problem, we cannot ask for help or solution, because people don't provide, the government will not provide help for something that's not recognized as a problem. So the first thing we need to do is to point out that this is a problem, and then once everyone recognizes this is a problem, then we can start asking for resources and support and infrastructure for it. And so that's something, is definitely something that we are lacking. And it's not just in South Africa like you're talking about, it's really everywhere. And even in America, parents reach out to me all the time asking, where can I find a lawyer that understand parental alienation? I go to therapists and they don't understand parental alienation. And I go to school and, the school principal don't understand this, and they're doing the wrong thing to my children. Right? We see problem everywhere, and people asking me, like, can you recommend me to so-and-so? I don't have enough resources to point out to people. I wish there are more experts out there. There are people that truly understand this, so I can point them out for parents to get help from. But we don't have it, and that needs to change. So, for example, one of the things that I do is I do educational program, where I train to legislator. Like I've done presentation for senators and representatives, state representatives, and Congress, talking about the system failures when it comes to parental alienation, or talking about consequences of parental alienation. I have workshop for therapists and lawyers. I've done talk on that. I've done training program where, so in the US, like if you are a professional, like a lawyers or a therapist, you need to gain what they call continuing education credit every year. So, every year they have to take a certain number of classes. And so I also teach those courses sometimes for them, and I talk about parental alienation, things like that. So, we need to do more of those things. And then, in the public level, like I said, we do a lot of public awareness campaigns. So, for example, recently we released a documentary film called Parental Alienation, The Aftermath. And I won Best Director for that film at the Golden State Film Festival here in the U.S. in Hollywood. And we're looking to bring this film to go all around the world to get people to recognize the problem. Because this film examines the long-term consequences of parental alienation on children, and this is the first-hand account by the adult survivors. That they are the one that tell you exactly what happened behind the closed doors when children are being used as weapons, in parents' conflicts. So we have to do a lot more. So what you are doing is really helpful. The grassroots work that you are doing, we need more of that, and then we need to get people to really get involved at all level. And so if there's parents out there, if there are people out there that want to volunteer, we need help at all level. Just actually yesterday, I had some parent reach out to me and said she wanted to change the law in her state if I could help her. And yeah, I would love to help anyone who wanted help. So we have a framework of how we wanted to push legislation. So we walk her through it, and we're going to be there in the meetings with her, with her state legislators and things like that. So definitely we need the changes at all levels, and I'm looking to, and this is why we're doing so much, because we're really trying to we're looking for solutions. Right, it's a big problem, and you need to really change it at all levels. So we need to provide parents with education so that they recognize that they have the power and they have to be the one who fight for their children, because they are the only one who truly can fight for their children, the one that care enough to fight for their children and have the power to do it. And a lot of the time parents don't understand that, and they're hoping that they can just press a button or take a pill or hire a lawyer or somebody. No, truly the solution start with you as a parent. So there's that. So we providing all this educational program for parents, and then we have educational program for children, the adult children that are trying to heal once they recognize that. So we have that. And then we have, like I said, public awareness campaign for the public. And then we have training program for professionals, lawyer therapists. And then we have training program for the legislators. And then we lobby for the law changes. So really, we're trying to do a lot of different things at all different levels. And then, I have workbooks that I published, and we have more books that are coming out. We have courses that are coming out as well, things like that.
That's very interesting. You seem to have a lot of resources already there. Are these resources just available to people in America, or is this also something that you rolling out worldwide?
So all of our programs are worldwide, right? There's no particular, all of our, for example, uh, these uh, programs are live events on Facebook that we have, and on our YouTube channel. They're all free. It's all available. You can access it from anywhere in the world as long as you have the internet connection, right? So that it doesn't limit to the US. And we have, I think, over 100 programs so far. We're covering all different aspects of, how do you fight this in court? How do you do legislation? How to recognize your right? How do you handle your children? How do you connect to your children if your children are adult? How do you deal with your own grief? How do you heal? How do you thrive? Like we have over 100 programs so far, and they all there. You can go on to Victim to Hero Facebook page or on our YouTube page, on our website. We have all of these resources. On the workbook, we have a workbook that deal with the 5-factor model to diagnose parental alienation. We have a framework for that. And that workbook, I think, is available in a lot of countries on Amazon. So it's available in a lot of countries. And then for parents that can't access that workbook, we actually have a free video on our Facebook and our YouTube as well that walk through every page of that workbook and explaining what is on that. So even if you don't have a workbook, you don't need it, because if you just watch the video, we walk through every single step and what's in the workbook and explaining to you how to use it, or what to do with it, things like that. So and then we have information sheets that's free on our website and our Facebook page. We have all of this is available worldwide. You just need an internet connection. And then for people that want to, sometimes we will do events that we don't stream live. those events are also free, so people can just sign up to our mailing list on our website at victimtohero.com, and then we notify our mailing list and let them know, if we have a Zoom call coming up that discuss whatever the particular topic. Because sometimes there's certain events we don't want to publicize it out, to the public for whatever the sensitive nature of it. And then so yeah, it's all free, and then people can just sign up from anywhere in the world as long as they have the internet connection. So if they on our mailing list, they would be notified of that kind of things.
That's excellent. I'm definitely going to check out all those resources. I've been looking for things like, but there's nothing that takes you step by step. It's always information all over the place that you kind of need to piece together. So I'll definitely be looking into your stuff. Petra, I think we've run out of time. You and I can probably go on for hours, if not days, talking about this. But thanks so much again for joining. And I will be actively every day pushing out that children first. The date again there is the 23rd of April. Am I right?
Yeah, it's Saturday, April 23rd, and thank you so much for volunteering to be the organizer for Johannesburg, because I'm grateful to have a city in South Africa, and for any parents or anywhere that wanted to volunteer to organize a flash mob in your city. It's actually quite simple. We have step-by-step instruction for how you do this. You don't need a big group of people, and we will help directing more people to you as well. But yeah, thank you so much for helping, and thank you so much for helping spreading the words.
Excellent. Well, I'm not going to even attempt dancing. I'll be behind the camera, so that's cool. All right. Again, thanks for joining, Petra. I will be chatting to you soon again. Okay, we will definitely keep in touch with us. I guess I do believe that, well, the world can learn a lot from your organization, and yeah, we can only grow stronger if we all unite. I made this point before that I don't understand why everyone wants to be seen for something. We all creating these little groups, but the only way we are actually going to make a big enough impact is if everyone joins together and speaks with one voice.
Thank you so much. I totally agree.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your morning, evening. Oh, you need some sleep now. Okay, we'll chat again soon. Thanks so much, Petra.
Thank you. Bye.
So that's it, guys. If you are interested, please do leave a comment, and I will give you more detail on that. Apparently, well, you heard it. I am the organizer here in Johannesburg, so Petra's gonna be feeding everything through to me. But we also do need Cape Town, Durban, everywhere in South Africa. We're looking for people to lead the flash mob in their respective towns, cities, suburbs. So please do leave a comment, and I'll be checking those comments and answering them all the time. Okay. On that note, I will be back with another update during the day or tomorrow, whenever anything happens regarding parental alienation. This is where you are going to be getting your breaking news from now on. Stay safe. I'll see you all soon.